Hey guys, how's it going? A couple days ago I did a video in which I did a review of the movie Inferno starring Tom Hanks. And part of the plot line for that movie is that all the clues were based in Dante's Divine Comedy, Inferno. So I went ahead and pulled out my copy of it, my very old copy. This particular book here is about 65 years old. I definitely need to get new copies. I'm a little nervous about carrying this around with me since it is so old. And you kind of have to be a little delicate because the spine is damaged and stuff like that. But I have a lot of old books on my bookshelf. Some of those I do need to, I guess, replace, I suppose. So I thought it'd be fun if we went through the different chapters or cantos. The first one being called Virgil. Now, there's two Dantes. There's Dante who wrote this, and there's Dante, the main character in the story. Now, the story takes place on Thursday, or starts off on Thursday, April the 7th, in the year 1300. This is actually kind of important. The book, or the poem, excuse me, which, yes, this is one gigantic poem, has a lot to do with Christianity, early Christianity. And this story takes place over Easter weekend. Now, Dante, the poet, he would use characters that would symbolize different things. For one thing, Dante represents humankind. And as we take this journey through hell and purgatory and finally the heavens, it's not just Dante, one person taking this journey, it's basically our entire species taking this journey. Pardon me. Now we start off with him waking up in a dark forest with the sun rising over. Now the sun itself represents divine enlightenment. Let's see here. I looked up and saw its shoulders, clothed already in the rays of the planet which leads men straight on their every path. The forest represents sin and wickedness. The sun represents the path to enlightenment. Dante represents humankind. So now he wants to climb this hill to go towards the rising sun. Well, when he does that, he is met by three animals that stand in his way. A leopard, a lion, and a she-wolf. Now, the leopard represents luxury, laziness. The lion represents pride, and it's a fierce, ferocious beast. But the one that stops Dante in his tracks and makes him go back down to the bottom of the forest is the she-wolf. The she-wolf represents greed. Now, this is also where we meet the ghost of the poet Virgil. Virgil was born in the year of the reign of Julius Caesar. He's an old Roman poet. And he explains to Dante that greed is basically the cornerstone of all sin. So that's why Dante is afraid of him. Now, Dante, the poet, does not say that mankind fell from grace with one gigantic act, like the biting of an apple or a war. It was a bunch of little different things that kind of culminated into him being where he's at. So, Virgil represents reason and philosophy. And that's actually kind of important because you're going to have a lot of this horrific things thrown at Dante, the character, and he constantly leans on Virgil for reason, which is kind of weird in our modern understanding of religion. It seems that in today's world, religion and reason kind of butt heads a lot, but back in Dante's time, they were one and the same. So, let's see. So, Virgil explains that the nature of the greed for which the wolf stands, it is an element of nearly all crimes committed. So now Virgil proposes to lead Dante through hell, through purgatory, and finally the heavens. Now in heavens, Beatrice, who represents revelation and theology, will be his guide in there. For right now, Virgil, reason and philosophy, will be his guide through hell and purgatory. As you go through the novel, though, you'll notice that Virgil, well, Dante is constantly relying on Virgil. And I like the way that Dante the poet really uses symbolism in this. Another thing is, back up here. Oh yeah. While I was laying back into a lower place, someone appeared before me whose voice was long, silent, and seemed faint. Virgil complains to Dante that he is reason and philosophy, but no one's listened to him well. Remember, when Dante wrote this, he wrote this between 1308 and 1320. Europe was still kind of in the middle of the Dark Ages, so for Virgil to say he hasn't been heard of or heard from in a long time, that's what he's talking about. Science and reason is pretty much falling off the face of the earth. But now Europe is starting to come out of that. They're starting to have reason, philosophy, science, and such. And yeah, it does take a couple hundred more years to do this, but this is the beginning of that time. Now, before I end the video on that, that's the first chapter. These chapters are very short, but there are about 100 and some odd in the whole story. Pardon me. I want to show you something. If I can find it here. This is basically a map that Dante drew of his world. I hope you can see that all right. You can see that, yes, it is definitely a flat Earth. Well, actually, it's a sphere Earth, isn't it? Over here is Gibraltar, the Ganges in India. And he divided the world into two hemispheres, the hemisphere of land and the hemisphere of water. Now, to reach hell, which is shaped like this, that goes down to the middle of the earth, and through the middle of the earth, you go to the island of purgatory. So, that's basically the journey right there. This book just fascinates the hell out of me, and I don't mean that, no pun intended. Yeah, but that's about it for right now. Like I said, the chapters are very short. And, alright, that's it for right now. Like I said, this was kind of an impromptu video. I didn't really have time to prepare for it. Just kind of a spur of the moment thing. But I want to do more of these. Let me know if you do want me to do more. We're going to get into Beatrice next. And then the entrance to hell. Alright, leave a comment down below. What do you think of the Divine Comedy? What do you think of where we are so far? And I'll see you guys later on. Bye.